Wait until, there we go.
I will call the meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. If you're here for Lummi Island Community Association March General Meeting, you're in the right place. If you're not, you may want to reconsider your options. So, glad to have all of you here tonight. It's going to be a short night for the most part. We're going to start on off by introduction of board members and of any new time guests. I'm Greg Hall. I am president of the Lummi Island Community Association, LICA. We have Alan Crum, raise your hand there, Alan, who is our vice president. We have Paul Davis, who is our treasurer, who's also going to give away some money tonight, we hope. We don't have our secretary on here tonight. We have other board members, Mary Ross. Raise your hand, Mary. We have, who else don't we have? We're missing a few different board members. Carol McKinney, raise your hand, Carol. And
Bill?
Is Bill here?
I don't see him, but
I do not see Bill. I do
but
not.
Gail is here.
Gail is here. Raise your hand, Gail.
Mhm.
And I don't see Victoria Souze. So Bill and Victoria are missing tonight.
And Connie.
And Connie.
So, anybody here for the very first time? Go ahead and chime on in. Let us know who you are. Always nice to have guests.
We do have Kit
Hi, Kit.
Hi.
from Faribault, Washington, who's going to be one of the presenters tonight.
Glad to have you here tonight.
Thanks, Greg.
So we're going to, I had my agenda on up. Next, we're going to go for the approval of the agenda, which was sent on out by both Brown Betty, is on the website as well. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda for tonight? Can I get a motion to approve the agenda and we move forward?
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries by acclamation. Let's next approval of the annual meeting minutes of February. Put my old man glasses on, 23rd, 2022. Those also were sent on out via Brown Betty or on the website. If you've had the chance to review them, we try to go through relatively rapidly so people have had a chance to review before the meeting. It kind of streamlines our meeting a little bit. Are there any additions, corrections, or changes to those meeting minutes? Then can I have a motion to approve those meeting
I
minutes?
move we approve.
Motion, is there a second?
Second it.
Carol McKinney seconds. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries with acclamation. Next, we get to go into some of the fun stuff. Some of the best part, what we do here is bring money in and give money on out. We've been giving some money on out. And that brings up Paul Davis, our treasurer, to give us February's financial report.
Well, this is a time of year when we have already received almost all of our annual revenues. So we just have a trickle coming in, another $300 worth of subscriptions in the past month. Our expenses are just ordinary routine expenses mostly. Our general fund balance is now $22,500. Our liabilities and anticipated expenses for the year are $11,993. Any questions?
Hearing no questions, thank you for your treasurer's report. Now on to old business. I don't know why Parks and Recreation, when I think of recreation, I don't think of doing public meetings on days when people may be preoccupied. Maybe it was by design, I don't know. But on St. Patrick's Day, and being an Irishman like I am, there was a wonderful meeting that our public doc committee gave a presentation to. And I think, the outcome of which is absolutely stellar, where we are going, where this is headed. And here tonight, Chris Emmer with an update on how that went and what's our next steps and where we're moving forward to.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Thanks for everyone having us once again. Everyone's been working really hard on the public doc committee, and just want to give a big thanks to all of them for doing all the stuff I hate to do. So all those that do all the paperwork and typing and everything like that make it really easy. We had a great meeting with the Parks Department. Overall, they are in favor of continuing to pursue this, letting us know the daunting task that is before us, for sure, that this is no easy process and it is a long-term project. It's nothing that's going to be accomplished in even just a matter of a few years. It's going to take much longer than that from what it sounds like. But they gave us great direction to know what it is we need to do to take the next steps. And some of those next steps are meetings between the park department head and Whatcom County Public Works head. They are working on that themselves, setting up meetings between John Hutchings and Mike McFarland, who's at the Parks Department. And then they also asked that we try to set up a meeting with one of our councilmen, Saptal Sidhu, I believe I said that right. And we have sent out a letter requesting a meeting with him, giving a brief description and actually our PowerPoint presentation as well. And so waiting to hear back from him. And then they're going to help direct us on what we need to do next. We've made it very clear to everybody in those situations that we're willing to work along with them to help accomplish this. We're not trying to burden them with more tasks outside of us being willing to jump in there and do whatever we can do. We just don't know what those things are and what that'll look like, but we're all anxious to keep pressing forward on accomplishing this huge task of getting a public dock on Lummi Island. So all of our information, of course, is available on ourlummiisland.org. Alan has done a fantastic job of putting all of that information up there that so many have gathered and just doing a great work there. So you can find way more information than I guarantee you want. So any questions for me?
There was one piece that came on out of that meeting that turned on all the light bulbs for us and will for the county. That one document, would you like to talk about it? Parks and Rec document that gives us the impetus for what they were going to do on Lummi Island. A little reminder.
Yes, somebody will have to remind me because I don't remember.
Well, that was the one that Dave Perry did a wonderful job on bringing up the information.
Lane has that information.
Lane.
So every 6 years, the county has an open space plan for recreations and parks. And this started back, the plan in force right now today is still the 2016 plan. It looks like I think the 2022 plan might be delayed possibly because of COVID. So they're still working on the 2016 plan. And that was actually put in place. They were holding, like they held, I don't know if anyone remembers, but they held public meetings out here back in 2013 to collect information about what Lummi Island needed. So since that time, we actually have had projects on their list of considerations for increasing access to the water and improving recreation. While they never say specifically that the public dock was one of those things, we certainly have been on the radar. And so right now, I think we're trying to figure best ways to leverage that existing relationship and help show how the public dock could work into that plan and satisfy the objectives that they have set, and are now in the middle of, I think, going to I guess, finalize a plan for 2022. The other thing I just want to let you know, and I forgot to include the statistics for Chris when I sent him update for you folks, is we have been running that super initial survey of islanders to just ask very basically, are you in favor of us continuing to meet with the county recreation, Parks and Recreation, and talk to them about this project? We've got about 194 responses, about 96% who do favor. And so our next big project is going to be, I think, coming spring and summer. You'll probably see a lot of outreach from us trying to hold more meetings with people in person, collect ideas about how people could envision this working, get especially folks who are on the island doing business, artists, craftspeople, including people who come onto the island to do business, to try to make as we're trying to figure the best ways to kind of go forward with this project. So that's also on our next steps.
So it was wonderful coming on out with all of the information, which is all going to basically, the important stuff will all be out there on our website, ourlummyisland.org, and is accessible by the public. I do encourage you to encourage any of your friends who are not subscribers to the Tome. They get extra benefits on the website if they are. Just a shameless plug to put on in there, because Tome subscribers do get a little bit more. Thank you very much for your presentation. I know your time is crunched as well, but I really appreciate what Public Docs is doing. It fits wonderfully on into the plans that they've had since 2016, boat access, recreation, a variety of other things that ties on into their properties. So it's a win-win in a variety of different ways, and I expect some very positive things to come from this. Got great guidance going on along the way. Reports. Connie Berry is not here tonight, unfortunately, who would be giving the report on Meals on Wheels. This year, it's going to be a little bit different. Dry dock is in May. With dry dock in May, that means meals, a variety of other things get changed a little bit. So there'll be a variety of different things going on. Meals on Wheels is one of our sponsored programs with Leica. We have several clients here on the island who need meals on a regular basis. It is available to seniors. If you or someone you know needs, please contact Meals on Wheels or give us a holler as well, and we'll get you in contact. So with that, I'm going to move on to our next big one. Spring cleanup. Wow, a week away, just over. Wonderful. Had to clone it again this year, trying to get all the coordination as we're going through the transition from COVID. Kind of difficult, trying to get people all together. Masks, no masks, how are we going to do that? Food, no food, variety of those things. We decided to approach it the exact same way we did last year, which was a success. We got the island cleaned on up and did it all basically virtually, signing on up. But with that, I'm going to ask Gail, who is chairing this year's spring cleanup, to give us an update. How's it going? What do we need?
So we need more people. It's going really well. There's lots of people signed up for a lot of the areas, but we still have quite a few that we need people for. The Willows has a team, the fire department has a team, and we've got a whole lot of couples and small groups. So we are getting a lot. Only had 2 people that signed up and then had to back out. But it is getting there, but we definitely need to have quite a few more. So I agree with Mary that we need to get it out on Nextdoor again, and I'll be telling everybody we can think of.
Okay, well, where can they sign on up?
On the front page of ourlummyisland.org. It's the top thing, story on the page, and you can click on the link there. Or if you are wandering around in the website, you can just go to community at the top, and then the second one down, I believe it is, says sign up, and just click on that, and it'll give you the option to click on the sign up. All you have to do is put in your name and which area you want to do. It's really easy.
Real easy, and we can form teams.
Yes.
We can go as groups. You don't
Yep.
have to do it just individually. Kind of a
Yep.
fun time. We get our island cleaned on up. We have it ready for our summer, and then we have dry dock.
And we have some assistance with the library and with Heritage Trust as well. Heritage Trust is going to do a citizen science thing at 10 o'clock, and the library's got curated books, and they'll have forms there for people that want to do the Swell app. So
So
lots
this
of
is-
different fun things.
This isn't just a Leica project. This is becoming more and more a community one, working with Heritage Trust, working with the library. There'll be more and more information, but you got a week to sign on up. So if you aren't signed on up, or you want to get some of your neighbors, let them know. We'd appreciate it as islanders.
Yep.
Thank you, Gail. Appreciate it. Next is our presentation. Kit. Ranked choice voting started in Maine, now in Alaska, coming up this year, and now talk about it in Washington State. What can you tell us?
Excuse me, woo-woo. I had an announcement I wanted to make.
I'm sorry.
Yep. And yeah, we are in the process of looking for mowing teams for the Ferry Park Orchard. And so we need to, so far I've heard back from only one of the 4 teams from last year confirming that they can indeed mow. So I don't know if Larry's out of town or what, but just haven't heard back from some people. But some people are just kind of slower on getting back. I'll do a second round of calls here, but we are still actively looking for people that have a riding mower and a weed whacker. If you just kind of do a team thing, it works pretty well to mow the orchard by the ferry parking lot. That's one of Leica's ongoing projects. We've been doing it for years. And so just if you know of anyone that might be able to do that, have them give me a call. That's it.
I
Alan?
I just wanted to add, there's also that little path that goes from the parking lot
Mhm.
over. That's also part of what we maintain.
Yeah. And so if anybody that walks regularly along North Nugent in the vicinity of the ferry park, we'd also look for somebody that is willing to bring a pair of clippers with them and just keep that path open.
Blackberry Patrol.
Yeah,
All right.
sorry.
Actually, I was going to bring that up a little later after the presentation before we gave out money. But with that,
Okay.
Kit, what can you tell us about ranked choice voting?
Thanks, Greg. And thanks, Mary, for inviting us. So I'm Kit Muehlman. I'm from Bellingham. And as Greg said, ranked choice voting is spreading, and there's more interest in ranked choice voting around the country. And so we at Fair Vote are presenting and answering questions and trying to spread the word, because we think ranked choice voting could solve a lot of problems. So with me tonight is Stony Bird and Liz Marshall. I'll let them introduce themselves in a minute. So I wasn't very politically active until several years ago, when I noticed that that politics was getting really ugly, particularly national politics. I mean, at the local level, we work together really well. This community association is a great example. But nationally, it was really upsetting to me, so that I wasn't sleeping. And then I remembered my brother telling me about ranked choice voting, and I saw what a big difference that could make in the structure of the politics. And I've been volunteering with Fair Vote Washington and talking about ranked choice voting ever since, and it helps me sleep. So with me tonight is Stony Bird, also from Bellingham.
So yeah, I'm Stony Bird. I've been reading about ranked choice voting since 2000. I gathered signatures for it in 2006. There was a statewide initiative then. And in 2015, I spoke about ranked choice voting at nearly all the meetings of the Whatcom County Charter Review Commission. The big issue they were facing was how to elect the county council. They actually came within one vote of putting ranked choice voting on the ballot in 2015. Since then, I've been working as a volunteer with Fair Vote. When I go tabling now, more and more people know that there's a problem. More and more people have heard about ranked choice voting, and more and more people just say, oh, ranked choice voting, where do I sign? So it was fun talking about ranked choice voting was fun when I started out 5 years ago. Now it's even more fun.
Thanks, Stony. Also with us is, Liz Marshall. Yeah.
We, this last year, we put a sign-up sheet, basically, and information on our farm stand about ranked choice voting. And it was wildly popular. I didn't expect it, but we had something like 51 local signatories. People fairly clamored to sign this thing, to sign up in support and to volunteer. And it was interesting because some people said, well, now, what is this? And we have literature there, so I gave them literature. But most people said, oh, yes, I've heard about this. This is very interesting. I want to sign this sheet of paper. And so it was effortless. And some of those people who signed are here tonight, I think. And so we're going to present and let you know a little bit more about ranked choice voting tonight.
Oh, thank you. Thank you again for inviting us. And we were hoping that we might be able to take the ferry over to Lummi Island, but could I share my screen? Oh, I can. Thank you. So this is us, and we were hoping that we could, where are we? Where's the ferry? There's the ferry. I want to say we're going to pretend like we took the ferry over. So in so many ways, Washington State is a leader in voting and access to democracy, but we've got vote by mail, automatic and same-day registration, and the Washington Voting Rights Act, and yet we could do even better. So Liz, what is ranked choice voting?
Well, with the RCV, you can rank the candidates if you want, first choice, second choice, etc.
And yeah, just like usual. Yeah. And if you have you can make your first choice just like usual, and you have the option to rank backup candidates if you want in the order that you prefer them. And now we're going to go through a sample election. So Stony, if you would put the link in the chat, we're going to have one of the easiest ways to understand ranked choice voting is just to have an election, to participate in an election. And we're going to vote for pies. If we were in person, we would have brought some pies, but we just brought virtual pictures of pies. And Sony will put this link in the chat. And when you get that link and click it, you'll get a ballot that looks something like this. And you get to rank your choices. First choice in the column 1, second choice in column 2, and so on. And then when everyone's done, I'll show you how we tabulate that. So do we have a link? Thank you, Sony. So everyone, I'm going to stop sharing so you all can find that link in your chat. The chat's at the bottom of the screen. There's a little thought bubble thing. If you bring your cursor down to the bottom of the screen, it should light up. And when you click that link that Stoney put in, you should get a ballot. Is that working?
It worked for me.
Great.
I voted.
I voted.
Okay.
Oh, the bars are moving. People
Oh,
are
so
voting.
yeah, you get the bars are moving. Votes are coming in.
Yep.
Oops.
Okay. So after you vote, you can watch those bars for a little bit, but I'm gonna ask you to come back to the main screen and we'll all look at the bars together. Is anybody still voting? Okay, I'm going to let's see, come back to here and escape. Does that work?
Mhm.
Yep. Whoops.
Yep.
Sorry.
A little too far.
A little clunky. Well, this will work. Oh, I've got to get that out of the way. There. Okay. No, votes are still coming in. Great. Okay, we've been using this election for a little while. That's why there's 170 votes in here. We didn't cram the voting box, but
Lots of absentee votes.
right, lots of mail-in votes. Okay. So with ranked choice voting, we have these 4 candidates. Pumpkin pie got 28% of the vote, apple pie got 28, pecan pie got 27, and lemon meringue got 18. So if this were a regular winner take all election, pumpkin pie would squeak by with 50 votes, which is just 28%. So, but this is a ranked choice election, and we're looking for one candidate to get more than 50% of the votes. And we're going to do that by looking at the last place candidate, and we're going to start by eliminating that last place candidate. Sorry, lemon meringue, you don't have enough votes to be in the running anymore. So the people who voted for lemon meringue still get a say in the election. So and it's a pretty tight race in the first top 3. So we'll see who the lemon meringue voters wanted as their second choice. All the other votes stay right where they are. So now we're going to round 2. And oh, look, apple pie has pulled ahead. So we're at round 2, but we still don't have a 50% winner. So we are going to eliminate one candidate. And in this case, the last place candidate, unfortunately, is a tie. So in a small group of voters like this, ties are not unusual. The more people you have, the less, more voters you have, the less likely you have a tie. In Washington State, the rule is if you have a tie, you flip a coin. So that's what this app does too. So we're going to eliminate one candidate, and the pumpkin pie voters really went for apple pie. So we can see now that if the choice were between apple pie and pecan pie, that apple pie would be the clear winner. And that's how we choose make a ranked choice election. You'll notice pumpkin pie and apple pie were only 1 vote apart to begin with. So are there any questions? I can run this again. So first we eliminated lemon meringue because lemon meringue definitely didn't have a choice to win. Lemon meringue voters went to their second choice. And then let's see, we've had to flip a coin on the tie. And so the pumpkin pie voters got their second choice, and the lemon meringue pie, people got their third choice. The ones, but they still didn't get their last choice. So this way, more people get what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go back to slideshow. And we will talk about some of the benefits of ranked choice voting.
So
So,
one big benefit is that voters can vote their conscience. Because you have your backup choices, you can vote for your favorite candidate without fear that you're throwing your vote away or helping the candidate that you least like. That's sometimes called the spoiler problem or vote splitting. But with ranked choice voting, you don't have to worry about it. You can really vote for the candidate you like. Another benefit is that more people are encouraged to run for office because they don't have they're not afraid of splitting the vote. And so voters have more choices. We have more voices and more choices. Presently, we have a huge polarization problem. But with ranked choice voting, we would really have more than two choices. And so that it would fuzz the rigid divisions that we presently have in our politics. With RCV, what you would have is more civil issues focused campaigns. Because a candidate needs over 50% to win, more people have a say in who wins the election. And candidates need broad support, so they can't go around trashing their opponents. They want the voters who like their opponents to give the one who's speaking their second choice votes. And finally, it saves money, both for the candidates who have only one campaign to run. Usually you get rid of primaries with RCV, and for the public, because the public only has one election to fund. So Kit will now dig in and talk about some specific problems with the system that we presently use.
okay, so right now we have a plurality system. The person who gets the most votes wins. So here, milk chocolate won with over half the vote. What could go wrong? Well, suppose a third candidate enters the race. Like Stoney said, we have the spoiler problem. If dark chocolate enters the race, it can peel off some of the voters from milk chocolate. And so even though most of the voters preferred some kind of chocolate, candy corn won the race 45%. And the chocolate voters are not happy about that. So this is a simple way of talking about the spoiler effect, where a candidate can win with less than half the vote. So Liz, tell us about this one.
Well, this is a good example of vote splitting in a recent 2016 primary for state treasurer. The two Republican candidates came out on top at 25 and 23% respectively. And the three Democratic candidates came out, third, fourth, and fifth. And if we had had ranked choice voting here, we could have, rather than just the top two going, my notes are not here, by the way. So this is difficult. But do you have the notes available?
Yeah, what you can see here is that the two Republicans between them had 48% of the vote. The three Democrats between them had 52% of the vote. And if we'd had ranked choice voting, probably the backup votes for people who voted for one Democratic candidate would be the other Democratic candidates, and a Democrat would have won. But as it was, the only people that voters could vote on in the general election were the two Republicans.
So yes,
This is not a partisan problem. It could easily have happened the other way around
it
in another
did
election,
happen
and does happen.
Yeah, it has happened the other way around.
in the lieutenant governor race in our last election. That happened. The Republicans got shut out by the top two system. So under our current system, whenever similar candidates run in the same election, they punish and weaken each other and they all lose. And the two candidates who emerge from the primary can even be disliked by the majority of voters. And, you know, when voters don't see a candidate that they can support on the November ballot, they lose faith in elections. So Liz, tell us about this primary.
I'm really not prepared without my notes.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'll go. Okay.
Okay.
So another problem with the way we vote is wasted votes. So the presidential primary in March last year fielded lots of Democrats, but in the last day or so before the ballots were counted, lots of them dropped out before the ballots had already been mailed in. And perhaps some of you voted for candidate who dropped out after your ballot was mailed in. Stoney, do you see anyone waving or nodding?
I don't see anybody, but I don't see all the faces either.
Okay. So
Oh,
nearly,
there's one.
okay. So you see, ranked choice voting would work really well with our mail-in ballots. Is nearly 400,000 Washington voters' ballots didn't count in the presidential primary. And this wouldn't have happened if we had ranked choice voting. 7 other states did use ranked choice voting in this presidential primary. Virginia, Utah, Alaska, Hawaii, Kansas, Wyoming, and Nevada.
One of the bills that Fair Vote is promoting now is to have ranked choice voting in the presidential primaries.
So Stoney, where is ranked choice voting used?
Well, as you can see from this map, it's used all over the country. Maine uses RCV for federal elections and the presidential primary. Alaska will be doing the same for the first time this year. In other states, it's used in presidential primaries, in local elections, in internal party elections where they select candidates for their officers, and for military and absentee ballots. So how is it working, Kit?
So, well, turns out it's really popular in practice, which explains why its use is expanding so quickly. So once people try it, exit polls show that between 60 to 85% of voters overwhelmingly like it and want to keep it. And that's a pretty high level of agreement these days. So why do people like it?
One big reason is that the campaigns tend to be more civil and more focused on issues. The people in these pictures are opponents. Each pair of people are opponents in the race, but they're asking voters, each candidate of the pair is asking voters to who want to give the first choice to the other person to give them the second choice. So they focus on the issues, the positions that they have in common. And why aren't they running negative campaigns?
So, okay, so imagine you're running for election. You're out knocking on doors, talking to voters, and you come to a house with your opponent's yard sign. So under our current system, you just skip that house because those people have made up their minds and you just want to save your time. But this is a ranked choice election, so that changes things. You can still ask for that voter's second choice. So you knock on the door, you talk about the issues, you talk about how you and the other, where you and the other candidate agree. So if you want the voter's second choice vote, it's not a good idea to sling mud at their first choice candidate. So the best strategy is to be civil and talk about what you stand for. And that's how to win a ranked choice election. Okay, so hang on, I'm going to stop sharing. I need to back out for just a second and make a little adjustment on my sharing so that the sound will be good. Oh, there we go. Da-da. Okay, I've got a short video to show you. And okay, let's see. I can do it. I know I can. Okay. Here we go. Okay.
Politics is tearing us apart, and it's because elections aren't working for most of us. Here's why. In the US, each of us can vote for the candidate we like the most, but whenever more than 2 candidates are running to win 1 seat, it's possible for most voters to hate whoever wins. Because of this split vote, politicians can ignore the will of most voters and still win. Ranked choice voting gives you the freedom to select a backup choice to prevent that from happening. Let's say a group uses ranked choice voting to decide what to eat for dinner tonight. Each voter selects their favorite dish, but also has the option to choose backup dishes. If one food receives more than half the votes, it wins, just like in any other election. But let's get to dessert, where the competition is more fierce. What if no ice cream flavor has more than 50% of the vote? Under a normal race, vanilla would win, even though a majority of voters didn't pick it. With ranked choice voting, the flavor with the fewest votes is eliminated, and voters who chose that flavor as number 1 will have their votes count for their next choice. Everyone gets a say, no one wastes their vote, and the winner is the flavor that the largest number of people agreed upon. That's ranked choice voting. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. You get more voice and more choice, and that makes elections better for all of us.
Okay, so we want you to know about, we've been talking about single winner elections where you elect one person. And we want you to let you know about one other way that ranked choice voting is used. It's called proportional ranked choice voting. And Cambridge, Massachusetts has been using it since 1941 to elect the city council. So here's how they do it in Cambridge. The city council candidates run together in a pool, and the voters rank their choices on a ranked choice ballot. And the top 9 candidates get seats on the council. So what it does is to ensure that over 90% of the voters get at least one council member they support. So voters can see that their vote matters. And as the city votes on the pool of candidates as a whole, there's no drawing districts and no arm wrestling about gerrymandering and about district lines, and gerrymandering can't happen. So Stoney, tell us about legislation.
So there are 2 bills presently, well, there were 2 bills when the legislature was in session. They didn't get all the way through the process, but the local options bill, which has been in the legislature for several years, got further than it ever has before. And both bills will come back next year. The local options bill would allow local jurisdictions from the county level down to use ranked choice voting if they wanted to use that option. And the presidential primaries bill would bring ranked choice voting statewide to the presidential primary races. Fair Vote is also thinking of promoting a bill next year where state executive offices would be voted for using ranked choice voting.
So in Washington, 9 cities and 1 county have passed resolutions in favor of the local options bill. So these include Ferndale and Bellingham in Whatcom County, and we're working with the Blaine City Council. So these resolutions tell our representatives that ranked choice voting is a priority.
And both San Juan County and Clark County have had charter review commissions meeting this year, and they have decided to put ranked choice voting on the ballot for November. So people in those two counties will be voting on whether to adopt ranked choice voting this year.
So if this sounds good to you and you'd like to get more involved or learn more about ranked choice voting, you can visit we have a website, fairvotewashington.org, and you can sign up for a chapter meeting with Whatcom people. We'd be glad to have you. Or a special event. We have special events at least monthly. And we have a resources page with lots of videos, podcasts, articles. And so if this sounds good to you, a lot of you are already supporters, but we welcome more. And we're here for questions now, if anybody has any questions.
I'm going to put a bunch of links for more information and more opportunities on the chat.
Thanks, Tony. Yes, Paul.
Is this for local elections or only, or how are we going to get this into federal elections?
Oh, well, we're working at every way we can. So the local options bill is for local areas, cities or counties, and the federal elections is a little tougher because well, the statewide elections are a little tougher because the representatives that we have now sort of like the way they got elected. They got elected using the system we have now, and so it's working for them, and they are not really motivated to change. Although many of our legislators do think it's a good idea.
Yeah, and more over time.
Yeah,
are
and our
beginning to see
federal
that this is the way to go.
and our state legislators may be more inclined to use ranked choice voting with federal offices because that doesn't affect them. But yes, we're working.
And there are several bills in Congress that
Oh,
would
good.
adopt ranked choice voting
When you
for
see
congressional elections.
9 or 12 candidates for president, you can see what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
23. There were 23.
23.
Right. There are a number of states working on the presidential ranked choice voting in the primaries. Yes. Oh, and like Stoney said, there's election at the national level. The Fair Representation Act at the national level is to bring ranked choice voting at the federal level. Yeah.
Oh, that's good news.
Yeah.
So Alan has a question.
Yeah, I was still, when this, I first learned of this, I started doing some research and continued it when I moved here to Washington State. And historically, one of the counties had used ranked choice in the past and had a problem with it. I think it was because the public didn't understand it. Can you speak to that and how that's been addressed recently to not have that reoccur?
Yes, I can. And Stoney, can you fish up the link to the Sightline article while I'm talking?
Conceivably I can.
Yeah, see, so there's a wonderful article in Sightline online. So you're talking about Pierce County. In 2008, Pierce County adopted ranked choice voting. This was back when everyone in Washington was required to pick a party to vote. And Washington's did not like that. Washington and in Pierce County, they went to ranked choice voting. They had one big election. It worked well. The problems were that it was early days. They spent an exorbitant amount of money doing the software, and times have changed. It's not like that now. They even printed 2 different ballots, one for the ranked choice races and one for the not ranked choice races, which is a little excessive. And then they also elected someone that I think was demonstrably incompetent and who was recalled, Dale Washam, the assessor. And people said that he was elected because he was everyone's second choice. And he wouldn't have been elected without ranked choice voting. However, he was first in every round. He came across first as every round. So there's no election method that will prevent people from electing someone incompetent, unfortunately.
So the link to the Sightline article which explains all this is now in the chat.
Thank you, Stony. Good work.
And one of the aspects, as Kit mentioned, is that Pierce County had to get custom software to do this. Now, 15 years later, all the software vendors, all the election software vendors have ranked choice voting as an option.
So yeah, and there were 4 places in the United States that instituted ranked choice voting and then repealed it. The other 3 are putting ranked choice voting back in. So Pierce County is the only place that's had their experience like that. So thanks. Great question, Alan. Rayma, your hand is up.
Yeah. Just clarify, this is for, you would still have a primary and a general election, or you could save money and time and only have a single election, correct?
Yes.
Yes. So go ahead.
That's how everybody is using it. Instead of a primary and a general election, there is only one election.
Most places that use it are motivated by the cost saving aspect and are eliminating the primary.
Okay, I wanted to be clear. Thank you.
Yeah.
But some places like Alaska are choosing to keep a primary, but they're going to have a top 4 primary, and the selected by ranked choice voting, and the 4 selected by ranked choice voting. And I'm not sure, Kit, are they using ranked choice voting in the general election also? I imagine they are.
Well, ranked choice voting is a tool. You can use it in a lot of different ways. And the way Alaska has chosen, they're going to have a regular primary and take the top 4 vote getters and put them in the general, and then the general will be ranked choice voting.
I see. Okay.
Which is, I don't know. That's the way they're going to do it. In Washington, the way the bill is written, all the candidates will run together in a ranked choice election. And if there are more than 5 candidates, there will be a primary, a winnowing primary. If there's 6 or more candidates, there'll be a winnowing primary, and then the top 5 will go to the general election and have another ranked choice election. Because sometimes, like especially for governor or mayor of Seattle, they have 35 candidates, and it would be a lot to ask voters to do that in one ranked choice election. Yeah.
Okay.
So there are a lot of ways to do it, and the bill narrows the bill that we have in that we'll be bringing in next year again has limited ways, specific ways to use it, so we're not all over the place. Yeah.
Okay. It sounds like if you would conceivably spend maybe less time campaigning and more time governing instead of getting reelected, perhaps, but not necessarily. Okay.
Not necessarily. We can hope. We can hope. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I see Pamela, you have your hand up.
Yeah. I wondered, are there other countries that use ranked choice voting?
Tony?
Yes. Ireland is a good example. Germany uses a mixed system, partly by ranked choice and partly by district elections. Australia's been using ranked choice voting in one of the houses of parliament for years.
100 years.
100 years.
Yeah, there's some form of preferential voting used like in most countries.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Kit, Stony, Liz, thank you so much for bringing the information to us. We appreciate it. It will be up on our website later. This is a recorded meeting, so we try to get the information on out to all Lummi Islanders, and we may do a
Thank
little
you.
piece on the website.
If you ever feel the need to conduct a ranked choice election for some purpose, we'll be ready to help you with that if you want.
We appreciate it. Thank you very much for your presentation. Now comes my favorite part of every one of our general meetings, and Paul is reaching on over for the magic can. This month, we didn't have a winner the last couple months. We're at $35. If you were a Lummi Islander Tome subscriber, congratulations, you got a chance.
The maximum number is 419. So anything over in that, I have to redraw. Pull one out. Oh, it's hard to separate them. There it is. There's one. 394.
394. And each
Right.
one of those numbers represents a subscriber.
394. Now we get the book out.
Oh, my goodness.
There's the book with everybody's name in it. I'll take my glasses off. Pat Wales.
At Wales, sorry, you weren't here. That means next month it's 40. It pays to be a subscriber and attend. And with that, further announcements, there will be a board meeting coming on up in April where I do want to discuss in much greater detail our mowing crews and finding ways to be able to help subsidize them with gas prices more than double. And with that, unless there are any other announcements, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I just wanted to comment that if any of you are current subscribers to the Tome, there is a place on the website where you can request the ability to use the discussion section and the classifieds, and you just go to community and request login and fill out the form.
Thank you very much for that, Alan. Any other announcements or any other information?
Just reminding everybody to tell all their friends to help come clean up.
Spring cleanup, fun time.
Yep. Front page of the website.
Do I have a motion?
Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
Do we have
Okay,
a
so
motion?
to adjourn,
Move to adjourn. Any objections? You may stop the recording. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you all for attending.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.